Hey there guys, and welcome back to Mana Down Under. For this video, I'm doing a commander deck idea on Lavinia, Azorius Renegade. Now, the new Lavinia is definitely changed. The old one's all about detention, putting creatures away, not letting them do anything. This one is more of like a modern sideboard commander. It's the only way I can think of it. She's 2 mana, 2/2, human soldier with 2 unique abilities. Each opponent cannot cast non-creature spells with CMC greater than the number of lands they control. Interesting. And whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Again, interesting. So we will do a separate video just on Lavinia in terms of modern, vintage, legacy, standard, like what she can do in her formats. But in terms of commander, non-creature spells that cost more than the number of lands you control, very common commander. People have very greedy land bases in commander. You've got things like Cabal Coffers, sometimes Tron and commander, land duplication, things like that. Very easy to abuse in commander, so a good counter. And casting spells for free, well, commander's a home for it. It's where a lot of shenanigans happen. I think Lavinia's main strength is the fact that she doesn't look threatening straight away. A lot of commanders will either have like big power and toughness, unique combat effects, or damage dealing, and it's like instant target, gotta deal with it. Lavinia is cheap and doesn't seem too threatening at first, but the whole deck is built around that theme of control, moving their resources away from them, and just getting a stranglehold on them. But we've tried to keep a little bit of a Azorius theme there, because it's Ravnica, it's time to go to the theme. So first up, any cards that we can use for the Azorius Senate. So Asperia, she's gone now unfortunately in terms of the story, but really good in the deck. Big beater and lets us draw cards whenever we get attacked. Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, it's a great card making our entire deck cheaper and theirs cost more. The Guild Mage is a great, offering us countering activated abilities and detention mechanics. Azorius have some great counter spells that are on theme. You've got Azorius Charm, Render Silent, the new Absorb, which is from Invasion, but now will be standard, modern, legal again. And overall, just on theme counter spells. Martial Law is great because that's what the deck's kind of already doing. Detention Sphere, good enough for modern, good enough for commander. The Archon doesn't see play, but it's a big beater and it can detain 2 target non-land permanents. Might as well give it a go. And Righteous Authority is a big buff spell for our commander or one of our big beaters, as well as draw. There are a lot of like mid-range creatures in the Azorius Senate which are actually pretty well costed for what they are. You've got things like the Law Mage, which is a 4 mana 3/2 with flying and hexproof. Pretty good stats for a creature. Then you get things like the Skymark Rock, which is a 4 mana 3/3 flyer that when it attacks, you unsummon target opponent's creature that's toughness 2 or less. Get those weenies out the board. Then you have more unique cards like Sky Huzzah here, which has mechanic forecast, which I'd love to see come back, maybe. You can reveal it and tap 2 blue or white creatures and draw a card. Never cast the card, just keep it for the forecast mechanic. And then you got the Jury here, is a little bit of on-theme defense. The mechanic Will of the Council supports Azorius really well. It's kind of on theme for what they do. They sit around in the courts discussing actions and matters to attend to and voting on it essentially. So it works quite well. The Portal offers a board wipe if we need it. The Guardian can be protection from a lot of colors if people at the table are willing to work. And with this, you can become a little bit diplomatic. Council of Judgment is a great exile removal if people again are willing to work with you. And Plea for Power, you're probably going to draw 3 cards. You rarely get that free turn, but you never know. Someone at the table might be your friend. Now, we want to lock down the board. We want to be the try-hard, blue-white, you're going to pay a ton of mana to do anything or you just can't do anything at all. So we've gone with the Steward, Muse, Ghostly Prison, and Propaganda, all preventing them from attacking us unless they pay additional mana for each creature. It gets very expensive, and some decks can't afford to. Token decks can't work, and some decks can only afford 1 creature through and they might not be able to cast a spell on top. Not fun for your opponent, I will say that. If you're playing this deck with a casual player base and good friends, they're not going to like you. Other ideas in terms of the lockdown theme? Teferi and Grand Abolisher make your opponent play a lot slower, even remove counter spells from the game. Aven Mind Sensor, well, there's a lot of tutoring in Commander. If you can only tutor through the top 4 cards of your library, probably not going to get what you need. And Fate Spinner. You already removed combat from them and other key words. Why not remove a phase from them? Remove either upkeep, combat, main phase, remove them. They don't have it. You're clearly a superior being in this game, being the blue-white player, so make them kneel for you. Blind Obedience, Authority of the Consuls, and Thalia all make their creatures come in tapped. You gain some life, you can extort, and even get their lands. Good time. And while you're doing that, Tameo supports it really well. You can draw a ton of cards through the tapped creatures or tap down further permanents if you need to. Now for the big hitters. We control the early and mid game quite easily with all our enchantments and lockdown pieces, but we need to finish it at some point. Praetors offer so much advantage on the board. Elishnorn buffs ours, debuffs theirs. Jin-Gitaxias, if you can't win from drawing 7 cards a turn and removing their hand size pretty much, you're probably not going to win anyway. But the Titans work really well in this deck. A lot of blue-white control have a lot of enchantment removal, so often 3 mana or under, so Suntine works well with it. Then Frostine, not as good as Suntine, but it locks down something on attack and entry, and a little bit harder to remove, but still good stats on them. Angels, who knew something so angelic could be a problem for your opponent to deal? Whenever you see an Iona and Commander, you know your opponent's in trouble. Just name a colour, they can't use that colour at all anymore, they can't cast it. That is often game winning. Against a monocolor deck, you're probably just going to win on the spot. Linvala, lockdown, any activated abilities they control, Chancellor Annex, if they want to cast something, they've got to pay addition 1 or it gets countered, and it will trip people up now and then. And even Angel of Jubilation, it buffs your non-black creatures. Oh no, my non-black creatures. But they can't pay life or sacrifice creatures. Really big considering the big flavour of Black Green Commander decks lately. And I love running Sovereign of Lost Alara and Eldrace Conscription, which thank God got a reprint in Ultimate Masters. Even just running Conscription in the deck, it's worth it. You can just set out a huge 10+10 creature with more on it out of nowhere. And if you put it on a Drogskull Reaver, you're living the dream. That 13-15 double strike lifelink flyer, feels good. And you draw a couple cards here and there. Other options to try and find wins in the game. Approach with Second Sun is quite easy in a control deck, because we've got all the time in the world. We can take our time, we can draw easily enough, it does give some life. Easy enough in the deck. Overwhelming Splendor works well in the deck, because you've already stripped a lot of their resources away. Elishnorn works even better with it. If their creatures are 1/1s with no abilities, giving them -2/2, no creatures for them unfortunately. But it puts them in a corner, they've got no resources left, they have to try and top deck a full permanent removal. Now for support. You've already taken a lot from them, now start going into the deck and stealing what you need to. Bribery, I love it, it's great fun. If they're playing really greedy creatures in Commander, which, let's face it, most people do, you'll get something decent. I love Corrupted Consensus just to steal people's commanders, or a weird creature that deals indirect damage with Infect as well on top of it. It can sometimes win a game. Elspeth is great in the mid game, because we're not early creature presence, not at all, except for our commander. She can put out an army to defend us, she can destroy the board if we need to. Jace, the bluest planeswalker ever, it's good draw. Teferi is better, but 4 times the price, so if you can afford the new Teferi, definitely go for him. Draw, your blue-white, you take what you like. My preferences are Ristic Study, because it's just annoying for people to keep track of. Fact of Fiction and Sphinx of Y'Thun are just Commander staples. And Dig Through Time is banned everywhere pretty much, so play with it where you can and enjoy it, before it gets banned to Commander too. Now when it comes to mana, we are definitely a late game deck, because we're all about control earlier on to establish our board presence to win. Our spells are expensive, especially in the late game, so medallions are probably going to be your best bet, reducing all your spells in your deck. But don't forget your Gilded Lotus, Thran Dynamo, your Signets, your Talisman. We need any bit of ramp we can get. With your lands, I don't think it's too important, because again, you only care about the later game really. Run all the dual lands you can afford or what you do have. My only 2 other picks would be Cathedral of War for the Exalting mechanic, because the nature of the deck, you're only attacking with 1 creature at a time, so a little bit of an extra buff. And then Rogue's Passage, because you've only got 1-2 creatures really attacking, helps get one through, if they've got a huge board presence that is. As for your removal and control, take what you like, that works well in your playgroup. You are blue-white, you have very toxic removal, people will hate it, but you've got things like Supreme Verdict, Terminus, Cyclonic Rift, really good stuff to pick from. Plenty of counter spells, I like Remand and Unwind, keep your fuel going a bit there, but take what you like and what works well in your playgroup. And like always, there'll be a ton of cards I haven't mentioned that will work in the deck, but Linvala as a commander is very sleeper, I think. Not many people are going to deem her a big threat straight away. The nature of the deck is very choking and resource restricting, but very competitive at the same time, I think. Like always, it's just me going through ideas for the commander. I could go for an hour. There's so many cards that work well with the deck. Blue-white control is a pretty vast color setup you can go with. But yeah, let me know down below, guys, any cards you would like to recommend, anything that you really think works well with it, or anything that's very flavorful with it. There will be more cards coming out with the spoiled season, so I'm sure there'll be more cards we could add in, but I wanted to get the deck out now while I can. So let me know your thoughts below, guys, and have a good one. See yas. Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and sub and click the bell icon for notifications. It's greatly appreciated. And if you have any deck or video ideas, just suggest them down below. And have a good one, guys.